Capricorn, welcome to August. This is Gwendolyn. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. I just want to thank all of my new subscribers as well as my longtime subscribers. I really appreciate having all of you here watching and enjoying the readings. So, for Capricorn, for August, we're right in the middle of eclipse season, which started July. We had one at the beginning of the year, but we had one also, partial solar eclipse on July 12th in Cancer. And then we just had a total lunar eclipse, July 27th in Aquarius, in your second house, Capricorn, of assets, of things that are valuable to you. And then on August 11th, we have another excuse me, new moon partial solar eclipse in your 8th house in Leo. So the function of eclipses is that they bring what is beneath the surface in our subconscious or unconscious to the surface to be seen and potentially released or just addressed. What it does is it brings the subconscious or the unconscious to the surface so that we can see it. It illuminates our blind spots. So your 8th house is a house of, traditionally it's sex, death, and taxes. It's the house of regeneration. It's the house of things that are hidden, things that are beneath the surface. So really appropriate for an eclipse hitting in your 8th house. It's the things that are hidden coming to the surface to be seen. So if there's been something that you just can't seem to get to the bottom of, that's been a mystery to you, that's been a source of, just you really can't see beyond it, or you can't seem to get a grasp on it, this new moon partial solar eclipse in Leo could give you some real insight. It could really help illuminate where you might have any blind spots. It's funny, I just saw 2 of Cups up here at the bottom of the deck. And so I'm seeing, maybe blind spots in terms of relationships. But anything that has seemed mysterious, seemed taboo, seemed at the depths, something is possible to be seen and allowed that helps you initiate a new cycle. Eclipses are about cycling out old energy and seeing what we don't normally have access to seeing the shadow aspects of ourselves, and then being able to make choices about what we want to keep and what we want to get rid of, what we want to address and fix. And we also have 5 planets in retrograde. As I'm recording this, we have Mars in retrograde, Saturn, Pluto, Mercury just went retrograde right here at the end of July. So, and Mercury will be retrograde also in Leo until August 17th or 18th. So there's a lot of backwards motion right now, Capricorn. It's basically a time of slowing down and reassessing things, reevaluating things, taking time to allow that shadow stuff to come up to the surface for acknowledgement and for release, for making adjustments about what we want to change, or making corrections. I'm kind of seeing for you guys, I'm seeing like a captain on a ship, and it's correcting the course. It's course correction. So if you're aiming due north and you get a read that, there's been like a wind that's kind of been pushing you off course, and you're northeast, north, or whatever the aberration is. This is kind of an insight to see, okay, well, maybe this is where I'm going off course. And it allows you to make that correction because it's slowing down. If you were going full steam ahead and in the wrong direction, it would take you way off course. But because things are slowing down, you can see where the change needs to be made, you can actually make those changes. It's a good time to review things, a good time to tie up loose ends from the past, to rectify anything from the past. It's also a good time to rest and recharge and course correct. is really what I'm getting for you guys. So that's what's going on in the sky, and it looks like there will be more forward motion towards the end of August when Mercury comes out of retrograde, when Mars comes out of retrograde at the end of the month, and then, you know, we'll finally at the end of September have some, or towards the middle of September, have more planets coming out of retrograde. So things will start opening up and moving forward again. So let's take a look and see what's coming up for you. Yeah, for you, Capricorn. Hangman. Things are in stasis, instability. It's kind of like almost in stagnation. It's allowing you to see things from a different perspective. This stagnant time, or just, I won't say stagnant, but this suspended time, I guess is the best word, is allowing you to see things differently and allowing you access to a new vision that you don't normally see. And what this is doing is it's allowing you to take that time to reflect and course correct. Hangman in the reverse, Hangman, this is the upright position of Hangman. Hangman means doing things according to your own unique way of doing things. He's sort of like the rebel, but he's comfortable doing things his own way because he's authentic to himself. So when I see this card, I often think of authenticity. It definitely means time suspension. It can mean feeling like hung up, or that things are out of your influence or control or power to make things happen, that you know, you're kind of stuck, but it really gives you time to reflect, and you can see he's hanging upside down, so it really gives a new perspective. And in many decks, excuse me, in many decks he is has a halo down here below, so he's showing spiritual enlightenment through this new perspective, through getting this 180, you know, view of things. So yeah, I'm really liking that. In what ways, Capricorn, can you be really authentic to the deep parts of yourself that don't always get to come up out of the shadows? You know, in what ways can you make friends with your shadow self, the self that doesn't care what other people think, and really embrace that? That's what Hangman is saying to me there. Crossing that, we have Justice. Excuse me. God. Very dry throat. I've been doing a lot of these readings. Okay, so it's crossing it with Justice. What's at the root is King of Coins. What's passing away is Eight of Swords. I really like this in the passing away position for you, Capricorn. Your opportunity is Fool in reverse. I really like that there for you as well. What is approaching is Six of Cups in reverse. You in this situation are being shown by Eight of Cups in reverse. I'm seeing you maybe wanting to move on from something during this new moon partial solar eclipse, August 11th, but maybe having some fears or doubts or resistance to doing so. This could be like wanting to leave a job but being afraid to. I'll talk more about that when I get to it. This is your environment, is Five of Coins. Your hopes and fears are Four of Cups, and then possible potential outcome is Magician. Really love that outcome for you. That's, you know, that's really interesting for me to see, with Hangman being your basis and Magician being your possible outcome. What this says is like waiting for the time to strike. Strike while the iron is hot. It's sort of like when a pot of water is just heating and heating and heating, and it appears that there's nothing going on, you know, under the surface, and then boom, at that one magic moment, it hits, and you see the result of it. You see the action happening, the manifestation of what's been happening under the surface. So what this is saying to me, Capricorn, is hang tight. You know, dream your dream, envision the things that you want to envision, you know, reflect on things, get that 180 perspective, and then as things move forward, I'm seeing this as towards the end of August, you know, take the initiative, take the action, make the thing happen. You know, after Mars goes direct and Mercury goes direct, that will be a much better time to take action. Sorry about that. My dog was just drinking some water. So, you know, sometimes it's just about being patient for the right time to act. And that's kind of what I'm getting for you, Capricorn, for August, is that it might be a waiting game. And it might feel a little unfair. it might be that you just got all your ducks in a row and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go on that vacation. I'm ready to tackle this big project at work. I've done all the research for it, but here's a delay. You know, it might be that you've been preparing for something, or that something's holding you back and it feels unfair. For some reason, this feels like red tape to me, or it could be a legal issue. It just feels like something that looks unjust. You know, it could be, I'm actually getting with these two cards for whoever this might relate to, is that it's someone who's unfairly imprisoned. You know, someone who is charged with a crime that they are not guilty of, because this is sometimes reflected as the criminal or the rebel, and justice as the challenge card says that there may have been an unjust verdict. So whoever is relating to that, that's your central focus of August, is that there's something that's putting you in suspension that may feel unfair, or may have been a poor decision, an unfair decision, an unfair verdict that wasn't considering, you know, considering the actual evidence. The scales is out of balance in this card. And with this being your challenge card, like, what do you do when things are unfairly judged or unfairly decided upon? Some of you may have been passed over for a raise or a promotion is what I'm seeing, but maybe you just have to hang tight, and your time to strike will be later. You know, if you were passed over for a promotion or seen as you know, an unfair decision was made towards you, you may actually choose to strike out and do your own work, start your own company. And actually, I'm seeing that reflected here in the King of Coins card, Capricorn. I mean, this is you. It can also be Taurus or Virgo, but this is the earth sign. And actually, with what I'm seeing here is that if you are not being fairly portrayed, or fairly, if you're being hung up to dry for something that is unfair, or even just put in suspension, like put in an endless cycle, put up on the shelf, you may want to consider the root of this is owning your own authority. And you may want to consider working for yourself, Capricorn. This is the CEO card. This is the self-employed person, the person who has the vineyard and the grapes and the money and makes really good financial decisions. And I see your opportunity as being, you know, brand new, launching out on a new adventure, being one of faith, of hope, of trusting, but being a little bit afraid of it, being fearful about taking that new, fresh leap. And that's also echoed for you here in the Eight of Cups card. So is there something, Capricorn, that you're thinking about venturing out into? I'm really getting that word venture. Maybe this is something to do with venture capital, investing in something. You know, he's the great investor card. But there's fear, doubt, or resistance to it. What is that, Capricorn? Because you're showing up as wanting to do this thing. What I'm seeing is that if you do want to do some sort of venture or investment, speak to someone who has experience. You know, get a mentor. This could be you. And the best way to make this be you, Capricorn, is to follow in the footsteps of someone who has arrived at that position that you want to be in. So I would say speak to a financial advisor, speak to someone who owns their own business, speak to someone who does the thing already that you want to be doing. And then by the end of the month, you become magician. You become the one who takes the initiative, takes the action, makes the results. So I really like this, but there is some fear to be overcome with that. I do see the period passing away of mental exhaustion, feeling powerless. Sometimes this is the slave card, feeling like you have no choice in the matter. This is Eight of Swords, which has to do with thinking that does not empower us, thinking that restricts us or makes us feel like we're stuck, we're captive. You know, what's common in both of these cards is that they're both captive. Now, they both have very different reactions to their captivity. This one just feels stuck, powerless, blind, you know, afraid, all of that. This one says, okay, you know, maybe I can open my eyes here. Maybe I can find comfort in this discomfort. What can I learn from this situation? So I really get the sense, Capricorn, that if you do feel stuck, you are going from a place, this is what's passing away, you're going from a place of feeling totally hamstrung to, even though you're hung up here, you're seeing what's possible. You're seeing things from a new perspective. You're getting insight from being slowed down. And sometimes that happens. You know, when we slow down, it's sort of like driving through a town versus walking through a town. You see a lot more when you slow down. So that's the sense that I'm getting here, is that this anxiety and powerlessness and frustration and this way of thinking is passing away. What's here is this slow, you may still be in a place of suspension and slowness, but you're seeing what's possible. And that's what I really like with this. It could possibly work for yourself. You could be the CEO. You could invest in something that's very profitable for you. You're going to have an opportunity to take that leap of faith, to have faith and courage and optimism and hope. That's what Fool is all about. But you may want to consult with someone who is a mentor in that field or already an expert in that field, in that area. I'm really getting finance for a lot of you, the venture or the venture capital, because it may look, you may feel as though you've been treated unfairly here, is what I'm seeing in some situation. And so it may be prompting you to take this new adventure, this new calling to go somewhere new, start a new phase, start a new cycle. Even if you've put a lot of time, effort, you may be a manager in this company. You may have invested a lot in a house or a relationship or something that you've put a lot of TLC into. But around this partial solar eclipse, your 8th house, it's the house of regeneration. Remember that, Capricorn. So I'm seeing readiness to move on, to take that leap, but also maybe some fear, doubt, or resistance because they're in the reverse. What's approaching for you is 6 of Cups in reverse. So this is a time when you may be looking back to the past and being sentimental, reminiscent, you know, thinking like, I wish things could be like they used to be. I wish things could have the same innocence and childishness, and I wish that things could be, it's just sort of like a looking back to the past. And it's not necessarily looking things squarely in the eye, because when 6 of Cups is reversed, it can sometimes be being jaded or being cynical. So when I see these 3 all in reverse, I'm seeing fresh new energy. You know, if they're upright, it's saying, you know, I have hope and I have faith. I'm ready for a new adventure. I'm trusting in the kindness of others. I'm trusting in everything from the past that I now have brought with me. Potentially also people from the past who I have great relationships with. And I'm ready to move on to this next phase. But with them all in reverse, there is some sort of fear, doubt, or resistance for sure, Capricorn, that you're going to need to work through. And it could be due to your environment. Your environment right now is one of loss. This is 5 of Coins. Or it could be a fear of loss. So it's feeling like you may have been financially ripped off or spiritually bereft or left out in the cold in some ways. You know, again, if you were passed over for if some decision was made that was unfair, put you in an unfair position, you may be sort of licking your wounds. That may be your environment and why you're not taking this leap of faith to put yourself in this position as King of Coins. But this is always a card that's choice of focus. So what are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on what has happened or what is possible? You know, there's always nurturing and comfort available in this card. There's always this spiritual world that's glowing behind us that is full of wealth. The stained glass windows, it's spiritual wealth. You know, it's your capabilities that make you strong. So you can focus on being wounded, or you can focus on your opportunity and what, you know, what the world is surrounding you with, what you have to be grateful for that you can still use to create the results you want. Your hopes and fears. This is what I call my Rumpelstiltskin card. And the sense that I get for you with this card is that you may be fearful that your time is running out, that the weeds are growing around your dreams, that you may never get this cup of happiness handed to you, that things are always going to be just as they always were, just as they always are, they're always going to be the same. You know, this is sort of like on the hamster wheel of life. And your hopes is that this cup of joy, of creativity, of a new beginning, a new thing that you love is coming in. But your fears are that, you know, weeds will just grow around you and that things will always be the same old, same old. It may feel like that right now, Capricorn, because we're in all this retrograde motion, which does slow everything down. It does make everything feel like it's going through molasses. But wait until mid-August or towards the end of the month when the planets start going forward again, and then you launch into this. You launch into magician energy. This is when you can make things happen. This is the abracadabra card. This is the I am card. You know, you can really identify with being this king of coins. I can make it happen is what both of these cards say. This one is extremely powerful. This is Major Arcana. He says, if I can see it happen, I can make it happen. Just give me the tools. Just give me the materials and I can make it happen. So I'm very hopeful for you, Capricorn, with this month. I'm going to say you just have to sort of be patient and get through any fears, doubts, or resistance about taking that leap. Taking that chance or branching out into the next cycle. Get some advice from an expert in the field if that can help you, and then you become magician. Then you become the orchestrator of your own results, of your own destiny, of your own, you know, this is a card about mental focus, concentration, and choice. When you get really clear about what it is you want to create, abracadabra, there it is. So a lot of power in this reading, in this month. But you're going to have to overcome some obstacles. And look at what we have at the bottom of the deck here too. 3 of Wands, vision. So get clear. That's my message to you, Capricorn, this month is in this time of suspension and retrograde and regeneration. Get really clear about what it is you want to create. And there it is for you. So that's my message for you for August, Capricorn. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up or share it with another Capricorn who you think might enjoy it. And if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, you can always do that at the link below, Readings by Gwendolyn. And as always, I just want to thank everyone so much for watching. Have a wonderful August. Yours in the stars.